Welcome. Come on in. A little bit early. Try to catch the early crowd. And let's turn the light on. And welcome to my show. Got a great show for you today. So, yeah, here we go. Let's see here. Turn the light on. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Going to turn the light on. Here we go. Here we go. Charles Van Morgan. So yeah, Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Welcome to the show. Got a great show for you this morning. Going to talk about crooked Margaret butthole Bim. And we say that because shit comes out of her mouth, lies. So we got that on there early. We'll try to clean it up a little bit later on in the show. Maybe not. We're just telling the truth. Attention-getting, unbridled truth that you won't hear anywhere else. Thank y'all for coming on board. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Let's see if we got anybody in here. And got a great show for you today. Taking you to a unique location. Hopefully if we can get there to prove a point. Well, can't really prove anything, but to show a point. And a lot of things you have to take by faith. And so we're going to paint a picture of something that we're going to, and I'll explain it to you when we get there, just like we did the other day. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Let's see if we got anybody in here. A little bit early, maybe nobody. We got a great show for you today. Got some stuff to show you. Let's see if we got anybody in here, and then we'll get on with the show in the morning. Charles Van Morgan, welcome, welcome, welcome. May God bless you all, I pray. So let's see here. Yeah, we got one person in here. And we'll get some more. Hopefully we'll break some records. The highest we've been able to get is 43,000 people in here. And hopefully we'll get a whole lot more. So today we're going to talk about Margaret Bim, the liar. That's supposed to be full of integrity and gave me a lecture about being honest and being candid when she was in a position of power over me, because they're in a position of power to denying or giving your law license. So she gave me a lecture from her high perch about being honest and being candid. And you know how they do. They're overused, so they sweep all their dirt under the rug while they're talking to you about being crooked when you ain't done nothing crooked at all. And they're in power because they've illegitimately lied to you to get power, and other people promote them to positions to back up their rogueness, and they call you crooked when they're the ones that are crooked. So let's talk about Margaret Crooked Bim now, a member of the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners. Now, she teaches a class that they make you listen to that woman. They make you listen to that crazy lying Margaret Bim. She's a liar. If she wants to sue me for defamation, let her go right ahead. Defamation is false communication. Communicate to at least the third person that tends to lower somebody in the standing of the community. It's false, unprivileged information. Now, what she did to me was false information, but it was privileged because they put them on the bench. Now, I did say bench, didn't use the other word. They put them on the bench to where that's privilege. Anything they say on the bench, it don't matter if it's as far as the truth from daylight is to dark, which is what they did to me. Then they can lie. It's privilege. They can say whatever they want to about you from the bench, which is what she did, which is why they get judicial positions. Why they give themselves and their friends judicial positions, so they can lie about you from the bench. And when they lie about you from a judgeship, it appears legitimate. But let's look at the facts and see if it is legitimate, what the trash they're putting out from judicial benches is. And yeah, I'm attacking the judicial benches all across the state of Tennessee. They're lying, dirty thugs. And it is not defamation because it is the truth. Truth is a defense to defamation. So let's see how many people got in here. Thank y'all for showing up. Got a great show for you today. We're going to a frontal attack What words, not any violence, against the judiciary. They attack you, let's attack them back. We're not afraid of them. I'm not afraid of them. Are you afraid of them? I'm advocating voting these dirtbags out of office. They're rapists. They're thugs. They steal your money. They steal money from all of the United States of America. The Tennessee Judiciary. Yes, I said it. 450,000 people, almost 500,000 people have listened to me say that. So we're getting the word out. We're getting the word out against the dirty Tennessee Judiciary. The things they do to you are deadly. They cause people to get killed. They incarcerate people wrongfully. They do all kinds of heinous acts. Somebody needs to stand up against them. Well, hello, I'm right here, Tennessee Judiciary. And if something happens to me, don't look at some long rogue gunman that has a gun that they're trying to take away that's perfectly sane, trying to use it to protect his family. Look at the Tennessee Judiciary, what violence they may commit against me. And they already have. They have a bigger position to stand up against me than I have against them. They put out their rogue lies in their protected defamation privilege, they call it, defamation, every single day. So why would they want to attack Charles Van Morgan? Because they know that what we are doing is very impactful. They know that we can beat their ass, and we're trying to. We're going to take you to a location this morning to show you what we're doing. This is Charles Morgan in the morning. Unbridled news you'll hear nowhere with the evidence and proof. I know what they tell you. I know what the government tells you. I know what people in government office tell you. I know what judges tell you. You can read their opinions. They tell you every day. And you know what opinions are like. They lie. And I'm here to point it out with truth and evidence. You can make your own decision. I know what I know. I've seen it. I've been there. There's so many people got in here. We'll continue this dialogue. We're going to a specific location. Hang in here with me, actually to two specific locations to paint a picture, to tell a story. And let's see how many people got in here, and we'll tell you what we're doing, what we're about. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Join us. You want to hear this anywhere else? We're well prepared for this message, getting better at it every day. Let's see how many people got in here, and we'll continue the dialogue. So yeah, we got about 20 people in here. Let's read some of the comments. Go Bucks. Charles was touched as a young boy by the Tennessee Judicial ever since he can't stop talking about them. Okay. Don't, where you headed? Yeah, we're about to show you where we're headed. We're about to show the man, the legend, the walker, what happened to the cop on workers' comp. Okay. The cop on workers' comp, was promoted after they violated the rules of workers' comp. It was reported to them about them stealing valor. Her name's Major Stacy Heather. It's not defamation, it's true. After it was reported about her stolen valor, they promoted her to major. And then they promoted her to major while they knew that she was violating workman's comp rules. So they knew she was violating workman's comp rules. They knew she was stealing valor. I reported to about stealing valor. I'm poking the bear, ain't I? Yeah, I'll poke the hell out of it. Because we got bears with us. The millions and millions of people all across Knoxville, all across Tennessee, all across the United States of America that the judiciary steals money from. All across the world, Canada, Australia. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all can get a social movement organization together to fight these dirtbags in power, not with violence, with truth, Look at what they're saying and measure it up against what you see with your own two eyes. They try to say, don't believe your lying eyes, believe us. Yeah, that's what they tried to say to me. They printed a news article. On the front page of the news article. While I was out lowering the fatality rate, keeping your sons, daughters, and children alive. Numbers don't lie. Led the whole state. Drunk driving arrest. While I was out doing that, I had two rogue sergeants that were pieces of dirt that came from Power, OPR in Nashville. And they printed an article about me, said, defaming me. Said, don't believe the lying camera, believe me. Saying that the camera said something that I didn't say. saying and quoting me, saying I said that, saying I said, don't believe the line camera, believe me, and quoted me in quotation marks in the front page of the Knoxville News Sentinel. That's what they, I never said that. I never said that. And that's completely ridiculous, trying to make a liar out of me when they're liars. Quoted me, Knoxville News Sentinel, Matt Larkin, the Knoxville News Sentinel writer. Now, the Knoxville News Sentinel had a writer, and he defamed me. Close friends with Stacey Heatherly. She was the public information officer for the state of Tennessee, and she's now a major because she lies for people in power. She lies illegitimately to make the illegitimate government, people in power, look legitimate. So they promoted her to major, knowing all the crimes she committed. They don't care about crimes and stuff she's done wrong. They care about if she lies for them. That's what people in power do. If you lie for them, you're good. If you try to protect the public like me, then hey, you're out of here. We'll ruin your life. We'll have Matt Larkin preach in the paper that quotes you as saying something you never said. And they can get by with it because of defamation laws, because their courts ain't going to rule in your favor no matter what. So Matt Larkin, let me tell you about him. He printed a lie. And I never said don't believe that line camera, believe me. You can look at this pursuit. I said the camera sees things that I didn't see. That's the truth. You can put a camera on a helicopter, it'll see stuff the pilot don't see. I never said don't believe the camera. Of course you can review a camera later, slow speed, and slow it down and look and examine and see things later that somebody in real time, in real life, in a pursuit, in the dark, didn't see. Of course you can. And that's the standard they hold you to. Yeah, that's crooked as hell. It happens every day across America in football games where something happens live action and a referee doesn't see it because of the limitations in perception reaction. In live action, you can't see things that a camera picks up that you can slow down and review later. That's obvious. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. But what the Tennessee courts do, dirty Tennessee courts, dirty, crooked Tennessee judiciary that steals your money, steals California's money, and I'll explain to you about that, steals New York people's money. They steal your money all over the United States. Tennessee judges steal your money. These crooks in Tennessee. There's people homeless all over the United States of America. The Tennessee judiciary has 2 or 3 houses. They got so many houses they can't even live in them all because they got plenty of your money, your tax money that they stole from you here in Tennessee. So, I mean, you can leave them in power all you want to. Maybe they'll get a 3rd house, get houses for their kids, and nobody in their whole damn families ever has to work because they're living off California's homeless tax money. I'm just saying, that's the truth. It's the truth. You won't hear that from nowhere else except from Charles Van Morgan. They attacked me wrongfully. They lied about me. It's easy to explain. It's easy. I'm explaining it, explicating it. Look up that big fancy word. They can't prove anything about me because they're liars. We're gonna discuss Margaret Beam. The reason why she's allowed to get by with her dirty corruption is because she backs up their lies. She says their lies are the truth, and it's behind a lot of judicial corruption in the state of Tennessee. Margaret Beam, I'll show you a picture. I want everybody to see the dirty people's pictures. They put my picture. I was out saving lives, lowering the fatality rate, making it safer for you to drive down the road. Quite frankly, making it safer for them. They're even so power hungry, they're gluttons that they damage their own self. I mean, you got a trooper that's leading the whole state of Tennessee that's making a difference all across the United States in drunk driving arrests. It's on the front lines of a battle and even protecting you, and you're so stupid that you think, well, I'll just get rid of them and it won't make any difference. It made a huge difference. It's still, years later, it's still skyrocketed because they'd rather their illegitimate power than tell you the truth. There's a million different things that they could have done. A million different things that they could have done illegitimately, besides trying to kill, in effect, the leading DUI enforcer in the state. And that's what these dirty people do. They're crooked, and you ought to be infuriated against them. Not infuriated enough to hurt any of them. Don't hurt any of them. Vote, and that's where we're going right now to show you something. People say you can't do anything. we might be able to, and we'll show you the start. There's always a small start. We're building a social movement. Right over here is where the Knoxville police, I don't know if it's justified or not, killed somebody in that house right over there. That house right over there, the Knoxville Police Department. The Knoxville Police Department killed somebody. DRT, dead right there. And they didn't have any video cameras to review and look at. So I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying. And where we're going is somewhere as it relates to the Knoxville Police Department. Now, there's some good Knoxville police officers. I'm not running down the Knoxville Police Department. I'm saying they're run by rogue people in government power. Now, let's get back to Matt Larkin, who lied about me in the paper, quoted me as saying something I never said. I said, I seen the car out of the corner of my eye, and all I seen was the tail end of it, and it looked like a parked car from what I caught a glimpse of in a high-speed pursuit after dark. It was even darker under a tree. The tail end had no damage, had no lights on. They try to falsely, the whole case is about me seeing the car, identifying it as a wreck, and recognizing it. Now, they tell you that I recognize it as a wreck, which, no, I didn't. They can't say that. But they literally testify under oath what somebody else had to know. And they literally lie that I had to know that there was a car off the side of the road, because they say the camera saw me look at the car. The camera didn't see me. That's even a lie. You can type that in Google and see for yourself. An obvious lie. The camera didn't see me. The camera's on the front of the car. How could it see me turn my head and look at the car? It didn't. And I didn't. I know I didn't. And I know if the camera was on me, it wouldn't show me looking at the car. It would show me catching out of the corner of my eye. But I didn't turn my head and look at the car. What I seen was what appeared to me, and it would have anybody, as a parked car. Now, the camera sitting on the front of the car, sure, it picks up everything, but I didn't see that in real time, just like a referee happens every day. A referee calls a play and misses something that happened. They slow it down on instant replay and get it right. Yesterday, Saturday in the football game, there was a apparent touchdown that the referee called not a touchdown. They thought, well, maybe he scored a touchdown, but the referee got it right that time, because on instant replay it was inches short. So he got it right in live replay. But a lot of times in the Georgia game, they had a touchdown that the referees didn't see it because of the real live action, and the touchdown was obscured. So they overturned it so easily. It happens all the time. You can easily review a videotape and say, well, that's on the videotape, but you cannot say legally, which is what they're doing, that the person that was there live on the scene in real time saw what the video camera saw. That's totally absurd. It doesn't take a scientist to figure that. And that's what the Tennessee courts do, because they're fishing for a reason to do their dirty, to make it appear legitimate. And it's not just me they'll do this to. They'll do this to everybody. So Matt Larkin, the psycho that he is, Knoxville News reporter, he ran me down. Let me tell you the truth about him. I was out saving lives. Now, he likes to get involved in death. You know, he went to every execution for several decades. Matt Larkin, the Tennessee News reporter. Other reporters will tell you they'll go to one, and they don't like to see executions. You see somebody dying, and I think it's just. This is a reporter that lied on me. I think it's just, but I don't want to see an execution. That's something that is justice, and I think ought to be done. But what kind of psycho would want to go see every execution? Because he wants to see people die. Matt Larkin, the one that lied about me in the newspaper. The news reporter is a psycho. The News Sentinel printed an article about him going to every execution. Other reporters say, no, they go to one, they don't want to go to several, because he's a psycho. These are people that tried to defame me. Let's look at them. He's a psycho. And Major Stacey Heatherly was friends with the news reporters. She is a corrupt, lying individual that's responsible, her and Lion Lil Russell, for hundreds and thousands of deaths all across the state of Tennessee, for lying about me and taking me off the road. And she even got hit by a drunk driver herself, because she made it more likely that a drunk driver would hit her. So let's talk about Margaret Beam. So come on board. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. So let's see how many people I got in here, maybe answer some questions. The Charles Van Morgan Show, we're talking about corruption in state government, that people in power, and in governments all over the world, people in power, their corruption, they're dirty, and how they mistreat people and what we can do about it. So Charles Van Morgan in the morning, we're going to talk about a corrupt Tennessee Board of Law Examiners judge, and one who promotes judges that lied in the hearing, protected and defamed me, protected by privilege. They shouldn't have privilege. They ought to go to jail. And you know, the script is being flipped in the federal government now, where a lot of people that did some criminal acts that had power at the time are now being prosecuted by the federal government. They used to be in power in the federal government. Now politics has changed, and they're flipping the script. And I'm saying in Tennessee, the state of Tennessee, we can flip the script. We can vote these people out and flip the script. Let's see how many people I got in here. Join me. We're on the way to a specific location to provide you a picture of something and explain to you what the deal is. And we'll also maybe read a little parody about Colonel Tracy Trotz. You might want to keep your children away, because it's pretty blatantly, attention inflammatory. It's not violent, and it's a parody. It's not even the truth, but I want to get your attention. A parody about Tracy Trotz to the bathroom, and read it to you. He's the one that, you know, and people think I'm being mean by saying bad stuff about him. I'm saying truthful stuff about him. The stuff I'm going to read is a parody. It's not true, but it's a semblance of something. And Hustler magazine, or Jerry Falwell versus Jerry Flint, was a case that said if it's a parody, you can say it. It's not defamation. So we can say it. It's a parody. Tracy Trotz, and he's probably listened to me, the dirtbag that he is. We can say a lot of true stuff about him, but I want you to hear a little parody that I made years ago, and just to make fun of the dirtbag, you know, because he's a creep, like that guy in jail that killed those 4 college students, and the inmates are raising hell with him, making noise where he can't sleep, and verbally attacking him. Let's verbally attack Tracy Trott with a parody, because he deserves it. He's responsible for hundreds of people killed all across the state of Tennessee. He told people where I live, endangering my children. He deserves it. Don't worry. He's got it coming to him. And it ain't about me, it's about you. He done that to you. He didn't just do that to me. I'd be better off, I'd go on my way. But I'm a fighter. I like to fight, and I like to win. And if you're not dead yet, you ain't lost yet. And maybe if they do something to me, somebody else will pick up the stick and the baton and keep on running with it. I don't know, but we're not going to let these people get by with endangering Tennesseans, endangering people, and stealing your money. Road Tennessee Court. Let's see how many people got in here. God bless y'all. Hopefully you can hear me. Let's see what we got. Man, I only got 12 people. There must be something wrong with the volume. Can you all hear me? Oh no, 87 people. I'm sorry. So let's turn the blue off. So thank y'all. Let's see, you got 78 people, almost 100. Let's turn the damn blue off. I don't know. There we go. Here we go. We got it off now. 13 likes. Okay, let me tell you this. Done. Okay. Tennessee whiskey, yeah. Zoom Adams. Okay, yeah. I wouldn't be cussing God. Trump and Epstein chart. Yeah, bull crap. Okay, let's go here. The guy's killed someone while driving intoxicated while he had a badge. Oh, okay, I killed somebody. Okay, I never touched him with my car. So that's the lie that the rogue people want you to believe. And thank you for being on here and running up my views. And you know what you're doing is hiding behind the internet, doing what Tracy Trott's done. And I never killed anybody. they killed themselves. And you are a dirty dirt bag, a piece of dung, and part of the government propaganda for saying that. So and I'm glad you did, because you just point yourself out, you piece of dirt. I saved lives. The fatality rate was lower when I was out on the road, and that's part of the propaganda. And you were probably one of them that spit on Vietnam soldiers, weren't you, going and fighting? And you probably worship Muhammad Ali for dodging the draft, right? So yeah, Muhammad Ali should have went to jail for dodging the draft and not fighting for his country. So I did my job, and I'm proud of the job that I did. And people done what they done to themselves. And the people in state power have done what they done to themselves. So thank you all. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Welcome to the morning show. Talking about Margaret Beam. And she appoints judges. She was part of the Judiciary Committee to appoint judges. She was on my board hearing the first time I applied for my law license. I've applied 2 times for my law license. They'll never give them to me. They're blackballing me illegitimately. There's nothing I can do to get my law license. Doesn't that sound a little wrong? You can try to abide by their rules, and it doesn't matter. You can follow their rules. They're not going to give you their law license because they don't want you to have a law license, because the government has branded you. And I got a Master of Arts in Sociology. The government has branded you as evil, even though you're more educated than most lawyers, and you can help more people in Tennessee than most lawyers. Doesn't that sound a little strange to you? You want me to apply again? Maybe dance on one foot and count to 50 and do everything they say and brag about how the judiciary doesn't steal your money when they really, you may do that? They'd never give me a law license anyway. They're not going to, because they're dirty. And you're not going to get a lawyer. That's what matters to you. You're not going to get a lawyer that truly represents you. You're going to get a lawyer that represents their lies and their illegitimate, dirty government. Now, people in government power have illegitimately made themselves legitimate. You see the protesters out here on the progressive movement, all these dirtbags, and I'll speak out against them. Well, I ain't got nothing to lose. They're sure not going to vote for me, because I don't believe in murdering the innocent. I'm not in demonic worship. And they're out here, and they have views and opinions that the news media said, oh, that's a more popular opinion than. No, it's not. The news media lies, lies, lies. People, for the most part, don't believe in killing the innocent. They don't. And the news media says, yeah, they do, and frame it differently as a woman's choice. What about the woman that's unborn? But so you see them out here every single day, almost, at least on weekends and special occasions. They get together on YouTube, and they get together on Facebook and have their little messaging, and they organize, and they got their little government. It's really a government social movement, and a lot of them are funded by the government. And they get out and hold signs up on Summit Hill and raise hell about stuff that no one is for. That no one is for. They think they're for open borders. They think Hispanic people and Russian people and Argentinians and people from all over the world ought to be able to come here, and they ought to be able to move in your house and you move out on the street. And they frame it that they're helping the economy. No, they're not. No, they're not. There's people over here legally that are working to help the economy. Those people, they rape, rob, murder, and steal. We don't know who they are. They fly airplanes into our buildings like they did 9/11. Hard to identify. And then after they commit their crimes, they run back across the border, and we can't locate them. When I was a trooper, some of them committed vehicle homicide. Get out, get drunk. They're not working. They're out drinking, running around, having a party in our country here illegally, not undocumented. And they kill people in their drunk driving wrecks. And then after they get charged and arrested, when they get out on bond, they go right back across the border and you never see them again. Nobody ever pays for their crimes. And these people out here protesting, they're protesters, they're saying that's okay to do that, saying God loves everybody. He does love them. He loves everybody, and he wants everybody to follow the rules of law to keep people safe, not to come over here from foreign countries undocumented and kill you all. You know, a lot of them, some of them are Uber drivers, the people that pick you up in Ubers. They're not thumbprinted like a taxi driver's thumbprinted. When a taxi driver gets a license, they have to go down to the Knoxville city or the city where you're at, and they put their thumbprint down. So if a taxi driver does something illegal, they know who the hell they are, and they can go to their house and find them. They have their picture, they have their thumbprint. They know if they go to another state, if they're eluding the law, and they find their thumbprint, another crime, then they know they're there, and they can find them. They're documented, they're traceable. Your damn Uber drivers, we're going to get to Margaret Butthole Beam, the person that appoints illegitimate judges that steals money and lies. I'll tell you about what she did, and you can look at the evidence. But the Uber drivers just download their stuff into a phone. And they could be downloading your information in their phone and be driving under your name. Of course, they have their bank account where the money gets there, and they'll pick you up, and then they rape, rob, murder, or steal, and they do it way underreported. And then the Uber turns over information about the driver to law enforcement when somebody reports a rape or when they find a dead body that just got out of an Uber. And law enforcement reports them to, and I'm not meaning all of them, law enforcement reports them, Uber report gives them the information they have from them, gives them to law enforcement, and they start looking for the driver of the car, and the driver of the car is listed under your name or somebody else's name. It's not even the driver, because they don't have to be thumbprinted. All they did was download somebody else's information on a phone, and they're driving under somebody else's name, and nobody knows who the hell it is. And they get completely out of a crime because nobody knows who the driver was. And then they go to another country, they download another person's name of the information, they get out and rape, rob, murder, and steal more because they're not documented. Uber doesn't require them to be fingerprinted, because if they did, that would cost them drivers, because they wouldn't be able to get illegal drivers. Uber, Lyft, you know, all of them do that. They don't fingerprint drivers. So you don't know who you're getting driving around. I'm not saying don't take an Uber. I'm just saying be very, very careful. You might want to take a picture of the driver, and if you're being real safe, get your thumbprint, but get them to hold your coat for you so you have the thumbprint, and talk to them before you get in. Now, I know people got to have a ride, and I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying be very cautious, because law enforcement may or may not be able to find them. Because if you get the point, all they have to do is download their information down into a phone. Download information into a phone with somebody else's information. Possibly it could or could not be them. Taxi drivers, they know who you are. You go down and you put your thumbprint down, they take a picture of you. A police officer actually does. So you know, they're giving them our taxi spaces here in Knoxville. So the Knoxville City Police Department, and we're here at the other only bridge, one of the only bridges in Knoxville, the James Watt Parkway Bridge. And this is one of three. They closed down the Gay Street Bridge. So you have the Henley Street Bridge, closed down Gay Street Bridge, the South Knoxville Bridge right here, and then you have the I-40 Bridge, the only way you can get through Knoxville. A metropolitan area with thousands and thousands of people. And you only have 3 crossings over the bridge. So isn't that kind of dangerous? Yeah, very. And doesn't that kind of hurt the economy? Hell yeah, it does. Hell yeah, it does. Things get to grocery stores and things move across the United States on bridges. Yeah, Uber drivers and Lyft drivers, they can be dangerous, and they might not be able to know who they are. So let's talk about crooked, dirty butthole being. Let's see how many people got in here, and we'll finish the story. We're going to a location where we're going to paint you a picture of what's going on. Hang with me today. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. You want to hear this kind of this kind of truthful, unbridled talk anywhere else. I have a doctor of jurisprudence. I'm so honest, they won't let me be a lawyer. That's something I'm proud of. Got trained at their law schools, their dirty deans. Took my money in law school, but they won't let me practice law because then I'd compete against them, violating federal law. And the federal judges won't even hold them accountable. We can hold them accountable. And I have a Master of Arts in sociology with an emphasis in criminology. So I'm not just talking off the top of my head. I'm telling you stuff based on science. So I'm not just a journalist in the traditional sense. I am a journalist. I request documents and find stories and report facts. But I also have an education in sociology. So I know how these stories, why they're painted the way they're painted, which is most of the time, 9 times out of 10, completely false, to back up a narrative that the government puts on you. Not a conspiracy theory by science, sociology, which is a science that's been going on for several hundred years, the study of how society, outside forces, influence individual behavior. And it does. And so I have a broader perspective of why they're telling the story the way they're telling it. Who does it help? Who does it hurt? And what is really the truth behind it? What are the facts behind it? Not what the news media or what people in government power want to sell you. What's the truth behind it? And that's the advantage that I have. And also I'm a little bit older and smarter than your average bear, like you all. Thank you all for joining me. I have lived a long life. I tend to live a little while longer as long as somebody in government power don't try to kill me. And they might, I don't know. I have no premonition. But I know what I'm doing is dangerous as hell. But I'm prepared. I've been in dangerous line of work all my life. I'm in a dangerous line of work driving a taxi. That's one of the most dangerous jobs that you can have, but which is the only thing I can do right now because the government has defamed me and made it hard for me to get employment while I'm older. In my older years, they won't let me be a lawyer while they allow younger people to be lawyers that have done things wrong, and I haven't done anything wrong. They're lying about me. So I have a unique perspective, a life lived where I know how dirty people in government power can be. And these protesters that you see every day perpetrating stuff that we don't need, that we don't want, that is wrong. They're out protesting all across the United States of America, burning down stuff, trying to get their way through violence. And I don't promote violence. They have infiltrated the government. These protesters you see out here saying stuff that you don't agree with. They're holding up signs proud of it. They say every dirty, vile thing that you can about people that are completely innocent of anything. And the script's being flipped to the truth. They have infiltrated your government. They are in government power now. They have, through deception, got voted into positions of power in the government, and they're putting other protesters in positions of government power. And they are taking over our government. Protesters are taking over our government that don't represent you, that don't represent the people. I'm telling you, that's what's going on from an educated perspective. Sociology, the emphasis in criminology. They commit crimes, oh hell yeah they do. They commit crimes that cost people their lives, that are deadly. This is very important. And they do horrific things. And they're protesters. They're not the government. They've infiltrated the government illegitimately by lying to you. People get votes, and then they promote people and put people in positions of power that are dirtbag thugs that perpetrate agendas that Americans and you ain't for, that Tennesseans ain't for. They use churches to allege that they're Christian when they're not Christian at all. Christians stand for protecting people's lives and promoting people living and promoting forgiveness and love. They claim that they're Christians. You look at the dirty governor, transvestite Governor Bill Lee. He claims to be a Christian. I don't know his heart. I couldn't tell you. I know my heart. I'm a God-fearing follower of Jesus Christ. That doesn't mean you need to fight wrong when it affects other people. You sure as hell do. Look at David. He killed the giant, hit him in the head with a rock. And I'm not saying it's that kind of fight. It is a political fight. Politics is civilized warfare. So it ain't pretty sometimes. If you can't stomach it, then I hate it for you, but we're fighting for you too. And it ain't pretty, but it's a necessary thing that's truthful that has to be done. Join the movement. Power to you, the people. So many people got in here. We're almost to the location. We're going to show you something really, really important. But these protesters have taken over our government, and we need to vote them out. Vote them out. There's more of us than them. We only need 27% of the people that have not voted, that are eligible, and have not registered, and people that are registered but have not voted. We don't even need all of y'all. We don't even need 78% of y'all to beat these people out of office. That's how they're winning, because they only got a small group of people that they do favors for, illicit favors, illegal favors, and they go vote for the favors. But there's a whopping, and they lie to some other people that are deceived by them, which is not your fault. I'm telling you the truth. But we only need 27% of the people that have not made any difference as of yet. They are people that are eligible to vote and registered but didn't vote. They are people who are eligible to vote but not even registered. And there are 87% more of you than there is people that have the power. There's only a small percentage of people that voted for Governor Lee as opposed to the people that are eligible to vote. And we only need 27% of people. If you didn't vote, I'm talking to you. If you didn't vote because you're not registered, I'm talking to you. If you're registered but didn't vote, I'm talking to you. If we just get a small percentage of you all, we can vote these protesters out of office that facilitate government policies that you don't represent. We can get rid of the protesters. 27% is a small percentage of all those mass numbers of Tennesseans. And also, here's the kicker. If we flip some of the people and convince them that Governor Lee, sitting behind his desk, does not fulfill Christian responsibilities, he's lied to you. He approved an abortion pill. I mean, I'm just saying, he did. He promoted a woman to major that has increased the fatality rate, continues to increase the fatality rate where your families get killed all across the state of Tennessee. Makes it even more likely for him to get killed. That's what an idiot that man is. I don't know if he's a Christian. I know he sure doesn't live like one. If we can flip maybe 5% of the people that voted for him, just a small portion, 5% of the 100% that he got, a little over 1 million, 5% of 1 million. If we can flip 5%, then that 27% comes down to about 22% of the available people. Flip 5% of his votes. Flip 27% of the pool that didn't participate that can, either registered and didn't vote or not even registered, and obviously they didn't vote. Maybe some of them did. But if we can flip 22% and get 5% of his, that's 22% is all we got to contact. That's 78% of people out there that we don't have to convince that there's people in power or protesters. We don't even have to convince them. All we have to do is convince 22% of the people that this government is rogue, that Margaret Beam is a dirty liar, and I'll show you she's a dirty liar, and that the government doesn't serve us, that it serves them, even at their own demise. We're even helping them. We're even helping them. We'll make the roads safer. We'll put forth your agenda. We'll meet with you weekly in different cities and counties and listen to what you got to say, and then go out to Nashville and the governor or whoever I tell you to vote, ask you to vote for, spell out the truth. And it's not people running now that I know of. It's not Marsha Blackburn, the flip-flopper. And it's not the man that met his wife when she was 17, he was in his 40s, saying that gave her a scholarship. You know, it's not any of the people that are running now. It's not people that are in power. Maybe me, I don't know. I might run. All we need is a small percentage. And people say, Van, that's impossible to do. You only got a few votes last time. I mean, that's where we're going. That's where we're going right now. I'm going to explicate it to you. How it can be done. It can be done. It can be done. And it might be, there ain't no guarantees in life. But we're sure going to give it the old college try, and that's what we're on here now. We've had almost 500,000 people listen to us in the last month. And we're going to show you this location up here. We're almost to it. And what it's about, and why we came here. And maybe another location if we got time. Come on board, Charles Van Morgan in the morning. And we're going to talk about Butthole Beam. Margaret Beam, look her up. Highfalutin person in Tennessee Power, highfalutin liar. And I'll show you what she lied about. She turned down my law license. Won't let me be a lawyer. Why? Because I'm protecting you. I would have defended you all. You say, why is your personal problems our problems? Well, one thing, number one, is you're framing it wrong. It's not my personal problems. It's not. It's not. My personal problems have almost absolutely nothing to do with this. It is your problems, because when they got rid of me, it wasn't personal. I was a state trooper. I wasn't doing anything personal. I wasn't out trying to get drunk drivers off the road for my own personal reasons. I was sworn to uphold the law. I was a government official, a Tennessee state trooper doing my job. And the government illegitimately, for their personal reasons, to serve themselves, took me off the road and disserved you. So it wasn't personal. I wasn't out doing a job for myself. I was making a living, and I was trying to do better in law school. And then they took that job away from me, raised the fatality rate. It's more dangerous for you to drive out on the roads now because of the message that they sent, not just because of what they did to me, because of the message they sent out. They sent out a message in Tennessee State Patrol and law enforcement agencies all across the state of Tennessee that if you go out here and do what you're sworn to do, that doesn't matter. You got to kiss the ring. You got to try to keep us legitimate even if we do wrong, even if we're committing sexual harassment and harassment. You can't report us. You have to do what we tell you to do, and then you can keep your job. Doesn't matter if you're out serving the public. They sent a message to not just me. This is what we'll do to you. We'll ruin your life if you don't stand up and back up our lies and mistreatment. So everybody in the state patrol knows, hey, we got to kiss the ring. It don't matter if they do wrong. Keep your mouth shut and get your paycheck and go home and do what the hell they tell you to, even if it's wrong. Even if it's wrong. That's the message they sent. That's why you don't have troopers out cleaning up the roads, because they're out worshiping the brass. And we might tell you about some of the dirty brass. So it's not a personal issue. It's a public issue. It wasn't a corporation I was working for, although they're just an arm of the government. It was the government. So it affected you. And then also, me not getting my law license, that's not a personal thing. An attorney is an officer of the court. They are bound by law to uphold the court system and to uphold the integrity of the court system. And that's good if the court system has integrity, or if it at least tries to have integrity. But see, there you go. That's the problem. They don't even try to have integrity. They don't even care. They cover up their stench and lie, cheat, rob, and steal and they expect attorneys to go along with it, and they will. If they don't go along with it, they'll do what they did to me, send a message. It don't matter how honest you are. It don't matter how much you've protected the public. None of that matters. You got to protect us. That's what this is about. It's about protecting the illegitimate protesters that have infiltrated your government power. And that's what I'm telling you that you won't hear anywhere else. And that's the truth from a sociological perspective, from a life lived. So let's see how many people we got. We're almost to the location where we're going to explain to you why we came here. Thank y'all very much. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Like, share, subscribe, and donate if you can. We're just a few subscribers from getting monetized, and we won't get much money out of that, but it will help keep the channel going and pay us for our time, get us to be able to pay helpers. So subscribe if you can't donate. That helps a bunch. So while you're thinking about it, subscribe right now. This is truth you won't hear anywhere. It's so truthful. The government controls Google. The government controls mass media. They might take me off here, but if they do, and I'm not promoting violence, catch me on Rumble, catch me on Telegram, catch me on another station. You can remember the brand, Charles Van Morgan. And the reason why they might take me off is because I'm telling you the truth that they don't want you to hear. And you won't hear it anywhere else except for right here. So we're going to get to this location, travel as fast as we can, and talk about Butthole Beam, the liar. The government protester, person that's infiltrated the government, the protester that's a liar. And we'll present the evidence to you. You make up your own mind. Is she legitimate or is she a dirty liar? I'd say she's a dirty liar. Let's see where we, oh man, we've got off the beaten path here. Here we go, we'll go down here. Trying to find our way through this. And we got protection with us, so don't worry about us being out here in the dark. We're well armed. So many people got in here, got about 60 something. So we need a few more than this, 26 likes. So, what does it say? What size is this guy's feet? Yeah, I don't, some of these comments, I don't know. But we are, see how long we've been on here? We've been on here for almost an hour. And we're coming up on the location we're going to. So yeah, we'll let's see. Let's get down here to we'll show you where we're going. Let's get down here to the highway again. We took a wrong turn, Clyde. And y'all seen Clint Eastwood. And we'll get back on the road here to get back to the place we're going to show y'all what's going on. Get across the highway here. We haven't been this way before. Changing it up just a little bit. So let's read a few comments. It says here, when the flying suckers went by, they told me that everything was unilateral oceans, and I don't know what that means. It's there's some crazies in here. There's some crazies in here. Charles Van Morgan live in the morning. Thank you for watching the morning show. We are going to a location. I'm going to show you something to show a point, to prove to illustrate something, to paint a picture, and we'll show you when we get there. Maybe about 5 minutes away. People say we can't make a difference. We can't make a difference, but beg to differ. They say, there's nothing there, but there can be. There can be. So we'll talk about Margaret Beam. She was on the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners when they turned me down for my law license the first time. She's supposed to be a unbiased judge trying to get to the facts of the situation to determine if I am candid. That's what she's supposed to do. And she was a prosecutor, not an unbiased judge. You can tell in the questions that she asked me, not unbiased questions, questions that were designed and aimed at painting a picture about me for a transcript later where they could justify turning a attorney down that could have defended you even against them, Margaret Butthole Beam. Now, what she did was, she was sitting in the hearing. I had to go before them. They demanded I go before a show cause hearing why they should not deny me my law license. And the reason why they had a hearing is because it's mandated in the law so they can make themselves look legitimate. Because they could just turn down people. If they want to have a hearing, so they can say, we gave them a chance. And the hearing is just set up so that they can slam you and get into evidence their false side of the story. That's what their hearings are for. So if you got a hearing in the state of Tennessee, you think, wow, great, I get a chance to go prove my case. No, you don't. You got a chance for them to tell you to shut up and them to present false evidence against you so that they can put it out later to say, that's why we turned it down, which is a total false lie. But see, later I can put this on YouTube, Facebook, and present the truth about these dirtbags, these thugs, these people that trample all over the Constitution. One of them is Margaret Beam. Now, she is one of the people that promote judges. She's on the board of Judicial decision making, who's the judge. So she's and decides who's attorneys. So these crooked people that lie, and I'll show you her lies and how she paints a false picture, are responsible for people in power. And that's how dirty people get in power, because dirty people that put out trash promote them. One of them is Margaret Beam. I'll show you a picture of her. I want everybody to see this dirtbag thug, which is what she is. Now, she could sue me for defamation, but defamation is false communication. Everything I'm about to tell you is the truth. Is the truth about her, how she was deceptive in a show cause hearing, denied me my law license, while at the same time giving law licenses. Now, they wouldn't give them to me. United States citizen, more education than I need. In my late 50s at the time, cannot do a lot of other professions, because you can't dig ditches at 60 like you could when you're 20. You can't be a police officer at 60 through most agencies. You can't get on with the federal government, so your opportunities are limited when you're older, and because a lot of discrimination, and because of your age, you're not capable. So when you have the law board who's older, and nobody's taking their job away from them illegitimately, and they shouldn't be in the position they're in, but they're taking older people's jobs away from them. And then when they go to school and get educated to do something else, they want to let them do that job, and giving jobs to younger people. I'm telling you, older people, these people in the government, if you keep voting them in, they won't give you what you deserve. They'll give it to younger people illegitimately, because they denied me my law license. I had an attorney, had witnesses, was well prepared to defend myself against their false accusations. Went through the system like you're supposed to. I didn't go out there with a gun, didn't go out there with lies, didn't go out there with deceit. I went out there with one of their lawyers that's bound to listen to them no matter what. And I went out there with witnesses from my job, with letters, under oath, certified. And also with hundreds and hundreds of awards that I got, trying to convince the board of the truth that I was candid and that you could trust me to be a lawyer, that I would follow the rules. Even told them that. They even swore me in. I testified this stuff under oath. If I lied about anything, why don't they show where I lied and charge me with perjury? You know, they're charging the former FBI director with perjury because when he was in power, he lied under oath because he knew he could. He was in power. And that's what they do. They know they can. They're in power, so they lie under oath. Or they lie in judicial proceedings. Or they don't even put themselves under oath where they can lie behind the bench. And that's what they do. They lie behind their dirty benches. That's what she did. That's what Margaret Beam did. She lied behind her dirty bench. Was a prosecutor, not an unbiased judge. But you ain't got a chance. Just think going before a prosecutor in any hearing and trying to convince the prosecutor that you shouldn't be prosecuted. That's the reason they're prosecuting you. They're not on your side in the first damn place and ain't never gonna be. And so you ain't got an honest, unbiased judge. You got somebody that benefits personally from turning you down. So that's what I was up against now. They let younger people, Leon Marshall, a man in his late 20s, early 30s, they got fired from the Highway Patrol. Not like me. I didn't do anything wrong. They illegitimately took my position away from me wrongly. And they shouldn't have done that. Raised the fatality rate. I didn't do anything wrong. Not anything at all. They did. But they won't tell you that. That's what you hear Charles Van Morgan live. Leon Marshall. Now he answered a call for the city, went off the highway where he was supposed to be doing his responsibilities, according to Tracy Trotz, to the bathroom. He arrested a man and then unarrested them. And we're here at this location now. And he unarrested them. And the guy sued him. I think he wants some money, Leon Marshall. So he got terminated from his position with Highway Patrol. He got in pursuit of a person on a four-wheeler that can go off-road, and went off-road in his patrol car, damaged his patrol car, going off-road, and told the supervisor that was suspended him that you got to do what you got to do, so he wasn't going to listen to the supervisor. Derelict in his duties, should have been on the road instead of answering calls for the city. He was defying a supervisor's orders. They told him what he needed to do, not take his patrol car off-road in a pursuit of a four-wheeler, and he said, you got to do what you got to do, defying supervisor's orders. So the Tennessee Highway Patrol fired him. He went to law school and passed the bar, and he was before the Board of Law Examiners, just like me in a show cause hearing, in his 20s. And although he did something wrong where they should have fired him, didn't have a lawyer, didn't have witnesses like I did, former state troopers, employees of the Highway Patrol, captains with Highway Patrol, didn't have none of that, but he's younger. You know, a little handsome fella. And Margaret Beam and those dirty Tennessee Board of Law Examiners, he's 20 years old. He can do a lot of other things, a lot of other jobs. He can dig ditches, whatever. But they gave him his law license. Didn't even pay for an attorney or anything like I did. Didn't even have to go through their system. They like him, you know, young pretty boy, I guess. I don't know. And I kind of think I'm older and handsome to my, you know, to me, I'm the best looking man in the world, but that's just my opinion. But they turned down somebody that is in their late 50s and turned down somebody in their 60s now for a law license, but give them to young kids that violate the law. So they're discriminating, age discrimination, exactly what it is. I filed a complaint with the Equal Opportunity Commission, you know, going through their procedures, and they still won't give me my law license. Isn't that amazing? But give them to younger people. Margaret Beam gives them to younger people that can do other things, won't give them to an older person that has limited amount of opportunities and didn't do anything wrong. So they decide what's the truth and what's not the truth in their little dirty book. And Margaret Beam's a dirty person, and she's a crook and a liar. So here's what I was wanting to show y'all. Let's see, here's what I was wanting to show y'all. Mass destruction in this area, and we'll copy some of this, is there's nothing here except a bunch of rubble, a bunch of rocks and rubble, and a bulldozer. Let's see what it says at the bottom. Can y'all hear me? I hope you can. Oh, big reveal. Little handsome fella is what? Okay. The Rubble pile. Neat. I'll put on some tier excuse me coffee. Okay. Okay. Well, you know, the message goes on. So here's what I'm talking about. Now, people say we can't make a difference. I say there's nothing there, Van. You can't make a difference. Pile of rubble, and there's nothing here. You can't do anything. You're not going to be able to build a. You're not going to be able to have a movement. You don't have anything. There's nothing. There's nothing there. There's no trespassing signs or anything. So we're good to be here. But they say in here used to be a building. Used to be a trooper. I used to be a trooper. Used to be leading the state in protection of people. Here used to be the Knoxville Police Department. The old Knoxville Police Department was here for years and years. I'm not sure how many years, but they have torn it down. All there is here is a bunch of rubble. We've been here a little over an hour. A bunch of rubble, bunch of nothing, rubble, and a bunch of rocks. And the Knoxville Police Department, you can look it up online. They have a little tour of it and tell you the stories that went on here. Some of the awful, dirty stuff probably went on here. And let me tell you this, Knoxville Police Department used to be here, right in this area. And I'll tell you the point of this and talk a little bit about people in power, corruption. But this is where the Knoxville Police Department used to be. They tore it to the ground. And that's the reason why I came here. Show you, people say, there's nothing here. And for me to start a movement, there's nothing here. It's all a pile of rocks and rubble, but let me show you somewhere else. That's, you know, where everything starts, with nothing. Because the police department's turned down. Let me explain to you. Knoxville Police Department used to be here. Let me tell you something that they don't want you to hear, but I'll tell you the truth about it, is that sociologically and logically, legally and with facts, the truth is that you would think that with the Knoxville Police Department being here, they moved it to another area, and I'll tell you about that in a second. With the Knoxville Police Department being here, they've tore it down now. If there was less crime in this area, because there was a police car in this area. Now, I'm not running down all police. Police are behind me. They know, because they don't run the police department. A lot of crooked people run the police departments. A lot of politicians that put people in, that do what they want them to do, that carry a gun and enforce their rogue laws and trample all over the Constitution. So the police department used to be here. You'd think that there's less crime here in this area because there's a police car here. And that's what people think. You think this community here is upset. I don't know. Maybe they fool us that there's not a police car here, because where more police, there's less crime, right? That's what people think. But think about this. What about this little concept? What about, since the police department isn't here, it's somewhere else, that there's less crime here? Anybody ever thought of that? People say, well, how can you say that? With police cars around, there's less crime. What about, and I'm going to say this, and just listen, what about the police crimes? The police crimes. So I'm saying there's less crime here now, with the police department not being there, than there was when there was a police department there. And I'm not running down police officers. They know, they don't like it either. Not a whole lot they can do about it. Support me. Some of them giving me money for campaigns, a lot of it, and I appreciate it. So I'm not running down police officers. They don't run the departments. The ones that are running the department shouldn't be, and the ones that are on patrol doing their jobs, for the most part, should be running the departments. And I have every bit of respect for them. Don't be violent against them. But what I'm saying is, with the police department not here anymore, there's less crime here in that particular spot than there was when the police department was here. That's a fact. Say, well, you're just, no, listen to me now. Now, listen. There was a police officer. There's a major problem in the communities all across the United States, with people falling dead every day of drug abuse, overdoses, and fentanyl. And it's a social problem. It's a major catastrophe. I've known young people that have died from drug abuse. One of my neighbors, a young man, had a young boy died from drug abuse, and I'm not running these people down. You know, they have problems, and you know, they paid for it with their life. And I know a lot of young people die from drug abuse. So the police are supposed to be involved in stopping the drug abuse problem. So you'd think with the police department here, right here, I'm explaining myself with facts. A lot of people don't like facts, but I'm just telling you. I will tell you, you won't hear this anywhere else. You'll hear it from me because it's the truth. You can't do anything about a problem unless you realize the problem in the first place, or you just gloss over it and you still have mass fatalities everywhere. So let's talk about the problem and ways to cure it. And one of the ways to cure it is to clean up law enforcement and let some of these people in law enforcement that are good people that should be running the departments run the departments instead of these thugs that they get from not even in the community running the department. Or maybe they'll do a good job, give them a chance. But at this police department, right up here on the top of the hill, there's less crime since it's gone here, without a police department here, than there was when the police department was here. Because they had at this police department a major drug problem. They had a man on duty in uniform, Knoxville police officer, police badge, that was running around at the safety building, call that the safety building. He was on his phone, selling drugs on his phone from the safety building in uniform. He literally was. So, since the police department's there, he's not there anymore. Now there is more crime, bad crime. They moved the police department to the other, there's more crime where the police department is at. More crime where the police department's at. Now listen to that. I mean, I know it's astonishing. Oh, that's not true. I'm telling you the facts. You can look at them however you want to. There's an Knoxville police officer, and it's all across the United States, police departments. Officers involved in crime. So where a police department's at, if there's police officers involved in crime, there's more crime there, not less. That's a fact. I'm just telling you. Read the papers. It's true. Now, they did prosecute him. Kudos for that. You know, TBI caught him. Maybe the TBI officers that caught him were, you know, I don't know. So we'll stop at that. But, so at the Knoxville Police Department, a heinous crime going on right here. So he's not there. The police department's not there, so he can't sell drugs there anymore. No police officer. So there's less crime there. Now, what about the police department that they're at now? There's more crime there because the police department's there. I'm just saying. You know, people don't want to hear this. It's true. You can't clean up the problem. I'm not saying all police officers. There's some damn good ones. I have every bit of respect for you. They know it, and they don't like it either. They wish somebody like me would do something about it. So police have my back. They do. They ain't got the back of the rogue people to allow this to happen. They got rid of somebody that they accused of shoplifting, of theft, that took stuff out of the locker room. That police officers take stuff out of there all day long that they accused of theft. An officer had been on the road for years and years. They shouldn't have done that to him. Now, that's not theft. They get rid of who they want to and keep who they want to. But at the other police department, where the new police department is now, is at where used to be a hospital. So this is what people in power, the rogue people, the protesters in power are doing. Some of the people in power are rogue protesters. They've infiltrated our government. They moved over to another building that's a marble, beautiful building that used to be a hospital. So it used to be a beautiful hospital. Used to be able to go there when you were sick. Poor people could go there because they got to give emergency life-saving care if they open up as a hospital. If you're having a heart attack or your child got their leg cut and you don't have the money to pay for the emergency medical care that costs millions of dollars sometimes. I mean, it's unreal, the cost of medical care in this country. It is horrible. It's like a third world country here. Tennessee closes down more hospitals. It's in the top 5 of closing down hospitals in the nation. Tennessee, your state of Tennessee, under a Christian governor, allows hospitals to be closed down. So they moved the police department, tore down the police department, moved it over to a hospital, closed down the hospital and put a police department in the hospital. So we need less hospitals and more police, more crime. So you don't hear that anywhere else. And I'm not talking off the top of my head. I got a Master of Arts in Sociology. I'm just telling you how these rogue protesters rig things in their favor against you. If you don't believe me, look it up. A Knoxville police officer selling drugs from the safety building. There's more crime there when that police department's there. They can't commit more crime because there's less police officers there to commit crimes. Some of them, not all of them, that's the truth. Have you ever thought about it that way? Does CNN, ABC, CBS, TBN, TBI tell you that? No, they don't tell you that. But that's the truth if you look at science. So that's just one example. There's other examples of that police department. Police officers commit crimes. They had one there. That police department, when it was there was more crime there. They had a woman that had a police officer that raped a woman. Now, they had a man that raped a woman that was a civilian that raped a woman, and the judge gave him 30 years in jail for raping a woman, which I hate. They need it. They had a police officer that raped a woman, and he didn't even get charged with the crime. Raped a woman in uniform on the job. Raped a woman for out of a ticket at Tyson Park. And at that police department where there's more crime because they had a rapist there. And he didn't even get convicted of anything. He lost his job. That was his punishment, losing your job. One got 30 years because he's a police officer. One got 30 years because he's a member of the public. So I'm just saying, more crime there. They can commit crime, get out of it. And now the drug addicted, drug dealer, police officer in uniform, and the person was in uniform when he raped a woman. That's how you know it's not consensual, using their power. So at the other police department, so they closed down hospitals where there's no need for more care. So you don't have to provide treatment like you do. If there's a hospital open, you got to provide treatment, even if the person can't afford it. But if you don't even have a hospital there, you don't have to do nothing. So in order to get out of the responsibility of hospitals and get out of the societal responsibility that the government is over of providing emergency medical services to children, because if you have a hospital open, the law says you have to provide emergency care, even if the person can't afford it. A lot of children can't afford it. They can't afford anything. So they just close down the whole damn hospitals all across the state of Tennessee. We don't have to provide nothing. There ain't no hospital here. If we open one, then we have to provide emergency care. So we just want to open one. So they want to put you in jail because they move a police department, bigger police department, better facilities to a hospital and close down the hospital. That's what they're doing. That's what protesters that infiltrate your government are doing. You know, is that what you want? I don't think so. I hope not. I don't. I want hospitals to open up. That creates all kinds of problems. Because tourists don't want to come in here to Tennessee, through Tennessee, because something happens on their way through Tennessee. There's not many hospitals. So that hurts tourism. You don't have many hospitals. People ain't going to come here. There ain't many hospitals there. Something happens, we're going to have to drive a long way to get care. So here is one of the only last taxi parking spaces in the city of Knoxville. There was two, but they moved one of them, and we'll continue the dialogue about Margaret Bim and show you the other building. So here's one of the only taxi parking spaces. Now this guy says no parking anytime, towaway zone. And there's a taxi parking only, towing enforced. So taxi parking only. So that guy was trying to say that the guy at the Hilton's trying to say that the no parking means you can't park a taxi. It means no parking for anybody else except for taxis. So yeah, they just changed the law when it doesn't fit their agenda. And here's another taxi parking. So it says taxi parking only. It's got a no parking sign. That guy says that means nobody can park there. Nobody except what's below it, taxi parking only. Towing enforced. So the guy at the Hilton Court was trying to say that there was no parking here. That's no parking for anybody. Then right below it says clearly taxi parking only. No parking for anybody. Taxi parking only. So you can't park there unless you're a taxi. He was committing a disturbance. Knoxville Police Department. More crime. He was committing a disturbance. And they were telling me I was committing a disturbance because I said I could park there because I was a taxi. But they didn't enforce the law against him. So that's how social forces, police get decisions about who they arrest and who they don't, who they claim illegitimately is violating the public peace laws and who's not. And somebody standing on their legal rights clears a bail. A sign there that tells me, their sign. And they're saying, I'm committing a disturbance because I'm saying, I can park here, look at the sign. And he's saying, no, you can't. That doesn't mean what it says. raising his hand, committing a disturbance, called the police. They even said, I'm wasting their time. I didn't call the police. Go on, leave me alone. They're having more paid parking all over the city of Knoxville to fill their coffers and hire more police officers so they can sell more drugs and rape more women. And let me finish the story about the more crime. There's less crime over here where the police department used to be. The police department's moved out, so there's less crime. Even though you would think there'd be less crime where there's a police department. That's not true. But where the police department is now, there's more crime. So we're going to talk about where the police department is now and where there's more crime now. And we're going to tell you specific facts. A very heinous, sick crime went on where the police department is now. So there's less crime where the police department used to be. And now where the police department is, where you think there's less, there's more crime. So many people, and I'll tell you about the more crime where the Knoxville Police Department sits. You won't hear this anywhere else. With facts and evidence. If you don't agree with me, bring your evidence. I'm bringing you mine. You know, Charlie Kirk used to bring evidence. Some of the things I didn't agree with. I'm just telling you the facts. Refute it. Refute it. You can't. And if you can, let me hear it. So let me see how many people on here, and I'll tell you about the crime. The more crime that's going on where the police department is now. Well, you'd think there'd be less because there's patrol cars everywhere. But there's a police officer, maybe more that we don't know, committing crimes from the police department. So there's more crime in that area. The public commits crimes and the police commit crimes in that area. So where you move a police department, sometimes, not always, there may be not less, but more crime. That's just the truth. So yeah, I call it like I see it. You won't hear that anywhere else. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Like, share, subscribe. Help us out with the channel. Subscribe. And we'll keep talking. We're delivering facts, truthful news, unbridled. And we're going to tell you about the more crime where the police department is now, a very heinous one with evidence. Hang with me. And again, not against police officers. Most of them are great people, and they're against this. They appreciate me telling you this because they want it to change. They don't like it either. They want you to go where the police department is, where you can be safe. And where they are, you are safe. There's a bunch of rogue people who infiltrated that department that need to be got shot of. So we'll tell you about that. And we're going to another location where the second part of location, we're trying to show a point. There's nothing there. Van, how can you make a difference in government? There's a bunch of rubble there and people that have been traded to go government power. We'll try to show you. We'll show you. But so many people got on here, and we'll finish our story. So let's see here. Yeah, over 100 people. Thank you all so much. We're building up. So why should Charlie die for his opinions? He shouldn't have died for his opinions. No one should die for their opinions, and they shouldn't. So we're going to show you this other location. We're going to finish with Margaret Butthole Beam, and maybe a little parody about Colonel Tracy Trots to the bathroom. And we're going to tell you about how there's more crime where the police department is now, as opposed to there was less crime when the police department there. Imagine that. Imagine that. Let's flip the script with the truth. Ain't nothing like the truth to flip the script, is it? Like what's going on in the federal government. The flip's being script. People that lied under oath because they had power. People that did dirty, that were in government power, that charged people illegitimately with crimes. Now there's a different power takeover, a different power structure, and in the federal government anyway. And now people that did that are being prosecuted. Imagine that. So the script can be flipped. It is a possibility. Possibilities are there. So that gives you a little hope. You know, Lester Roloff, and we'll tell you about the police department, how more dangerous it is where it's at now, where it's at a hospital. You know, Lester Roloff had the state shut down, people in government power shut down his homes for children, for orphans and widows. And he got upset about it, went to jail over it. And he got a social movement together and got the governor of Texas voted out of office. So social movement organizations, power to you the people, can work. Whether it will or not, I don't know. But he defeated the sitting governor. We can defeat the sitting Republican piece of dirt, and whoever Democrat runs against him, let's put an independent in office. Get rid of these rogue people that claim to be Republicans that aren't. You know, the governor was called a rhino by the president. Our Republican governor is called a Republican in name only. That's what they are in Tennessee. They're dirtbags. So the city police department had a man as a police officer in uniform, and he's committing a crime in uniform. He had a girlfriend that had a little child. This is some pretty horrific information, so just a little warning up front. He had a child. He had a girlfriend that had a little child. I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years old, and he had his girlfriend taking nude pictures of the child and sending it to him, and he was disseminating those nude pictures of a child pornography, and he was a Knoxville police officer, and he even took a picture of a part of the pay. He was paying her. He took a picture of part of the pay he's pulled over people and wrote them tickets from his patrol car, looking to the Dodge Charger, looking at the emblem. So you can see that same Dodge emblem where he's disciplined you, maybe for speeding, maybe for DUI, maybe not, falsely. And he took a picture showing the lady that he had mailed her the check that he's paying her for her to send him pictures of her nude daughter, and from the new police department over here, of her nude daughter. And paying her for it to take pictures of her nude daughter, send it to him, and he'd disseminate child pornography. And he took a picture of where he's paying her from his patrol car. You can see the Dodge Charger police car emblem. So he's sitting in a police car paying for child pornography as a police officer in uniform from the operating out of the new safety building, the new police department, where it's at here. And that happens all over the United States, not just here in Knoxville. So there's more crime, heinous, bad crime. I mean, that's pretty sick to have somebody that's facilitating, damaging the most innocent in society, facilitating child pornography from a police uniform at the new police department. So there's more crime going over there. Since the police department moved over there, there's more crime because they moved the crime from the police department over to the new location. And move the crime from the old location where there's less crime there. There's less crime because there's less police officers. And moved it over to there's an attorney jaywalking. So they were liable to tackle me. Probably an attorney, I don't know. But yeah. So here is the other picture I want to show you. So there's more crime at the other location where there's a police department. And less crime at the location where they closed down the police department. Less medical care at the new police department. More crime at the new police department they build. There's less medical treatment for children because of the governor. And there's less tourists in Tennessee because of the governor. Less money, less affluency. And at the new police department there's more crime, less medical care, more crime because they closed down a hospital to open up a new police department. And over there at the other police department, there's complete rubble. And that's why we're here. That is why we're here. I don't know why it keeps changing over, but we need to change this back to no screen. Okay, here we go. Done. Must be hitting the button. So, like, subscribe, comment. We'll read some of the jaywalking. Yeah, I did. I jaywalked. It's on film. You're gonna charge me. What is he talking about? Okay, I'm talking about, what am I talking about? I broke it down Barney style. I don't know how simple I can get it. At a police department, where there used to be a police department, where there's a police department, there was more crime over there, a lot of crime over there. Since they moved the police department away, there's not a police department anymore. There's less crime. You would think, the perception is, where there's a police department, there's less crime, there's a police department there. People ain't going to commit crimes, because there's a police department, there's a police officer there, he'll arrest me. There's actually more crimes there than there was when there was a police department because the police officers' crimes aren't there anymore. So since they moved the police department away from there, you have less crime there because you had the public crime and the police crime. And there's more crime where they moved the new police department in that area because there's still the public crime And then they moved the police department over there, so there's police crime, so there's more crime. Now, that's simple as Barney style, and I even told you facts and evidence. The 2 crimes over here and more, where there used to be a police department, they ain't there anymore because there's a bunch of rubble. More crime over here where there's a police department. I just told you one real heinous one, where child pornography being distributed by a police officer from that police department. So we were over there and showed you Rubble. People say, Van, how can you start a social movement organization? The voters of Tennessee enraged and voters all over the world enraged. And sometimes encouraged. I'm trying to encourage you. There's a bunch of rubble. You ain't got nothing. Well, something always comes from nothing. Martin Luther King said, I had a dream. Now, I've got more than a dream. You know, I've got a means and methods. And he did too. He had some good tactics. But I've got reality. And it takes money, but we can make this reality with little to no money. Theoretically, we can do this without a dime because voting is supposed to be free, and you got to have enough gas money to get to the polls or enough food and clothes to keep you alive to walk down there and vote. But voting is free. All we need is voters. This is a building where these crooked attorneys in the state of Tennessee practice law for the government out of. They walk over here to this courtroom. And this building was a pile of rubble. There was nothing here. And then they built this big, huge building out of nothing, brought stuff in. And that's how we can build this social movement. And we've got more than a pile of rubble. We have been in this social movement for about 6 years now, doing stuff to build up the movement. Just recently, in the past month, we have got almost 500,000 people on YouTube following us. And in the past 6 years, we've contacted close to 1 million people, getting the message out to go vote these people out. We only need a small percentage. So I went to the place of Rubble to tell you about the police department, and also they're all across the United States, and also show you that there's rubble there, but then come over here and look at this big tall building. What do you think used to be there 100 years ago? Nothing. We can build from nothing, and we're not starting from nothing. We've already got a major foundation, contacted about 1 million people close to it. We had 450,000, almost 500,000 people listening to us in the last month. So we're going from here. We're on it. We're trying. We'll fight like hell to bring about peaceful change for you, where we can have our police departments where there's less crime, not more, where we can have an economy in a state that has more hospitals, not less, where we can have an economy that is in your favor, not in theirs. Here's the city county building, the crooked Knox County city county building where they promote road judges. And here's my little flyer at the city county building. So we're getting the word out. It says Charles Van Morgan, Tennessee government crimes cause hundreds to get killed. Live now. We're live right now, and the way to beat these thugs is to vote. And this is at the city county building. So we're on it. We're on it. We're not backing down. Here's one of the noise makers. They ought to have electric blowing machines instead of pestering all these people with a damn noise that they cause. That's so annoying. And so we're going to talk about where we can get away from the damn noise. We'll get as far away from the damn noise as we can get. Remind me not to come down here in the morning. They got these damn noise makers. Noise makers. So we'll get away from the noise. I listened to that in the background in my video the other day, and it was so damn annoying. So we'll get away from the noise makers and talk about Margaret Beam, Butthole Beam, and also we're going to read you a little parody about the former crooked colonel of the Tennessee Highway Patrol, Colonel Tracy Trots to the bathroom, the lying thug that he is, the coward that he is, You know, he lied on me, got me terminated through lies and deception, and didn't even come to the hearing and swear under oath. Didn't even face me. What a dirtbag coward he is. What a dirtbag coward. He's like paying a sniper to shoot me, paying his people in internal affairs to lie under oath, and didn't even have to be there. So they get by with their lies and deceit and government corruption, and they don't even show up. They don't have to. They do whatever the hell they want to do. Let's see if we can get over to the bridge and avoid these damn noisemakers, and we'll talk to you about Butthole Bim and Tracy Trotz to the bathroom. Got a little parody about Tracy Trotz now. Margaret Bim was on the board the first time that turned me down. And I had to listen to her here recently because when I was applying again, she has a tape recording made several years ago. You know, they praise these people to high heaven for years, make videotapes where you got to listen to their dumb asses. And they praise them like they're great, smart, intelligent people. They're not great, smart, intelligent people. They're criminals. Their asses ought to be in jails where they ought to be. And if, you know, the flip's being flipped in the federal government, maybe it can be flipped here in the state of Tennessee, where some of these rogue government officials have their hind ends put in jail where they belong. So here's a bridge down here in Knoxville that's closed down. Closed down bridge in Knoxville, Tennessee. That hurts the economy. That hurts the economy. You don't get food to market on bicycle trails. You get food to market, and you get tourists in Tennessee by open roads, and they're closing them all down. Isn't that rogue as hell? I mean, closing down roads for us, but they can drive on them. What a bunch of crooks. What a bunch of liars. What mismanaged government. Selling our property to corporations, our government property that belongs to us, selling it off to corporations, going around the public, having secret meetings. I know how they do it. They have secret meetings in the back hallway. And that's one of the reasons why they got rid of me as a trooper when I was arresting drunk drivers, is because of the fact that I arrested some of these rogue attorneys' children. And it was even, they should have thanked me for arresting their children. I was even doing them a favor. Their children are still alive because I put them in jail. One of them, and we'll talk about Margaret Bim, one of them was caught her driving down Main Street on a flat tire. And because she was so drunk, she hit the curb. It was about 3:30 in the morning, and tried to stop her, and she kept on going. Went in a short pursuit of her. She was drunk, an attorney's daughter, and finally got her stopped. She kept going until I got her over. She finally stopped over off of the Gay Street Bridge, right on the other side of it, on West Blunt Avenue. After I tried to stop her over here on Main Street, and she wouldn't stop. I got out of the car, she stopped for a second, and then she took off, went all the way across the Gay Street Bridge, didn't stop till she was on Main Avenue. This is a drunk attorney's daughter. And I arrested her. She was so drunk, couldn't hardly walk. And put her in jail. And then an attorney, he was her daughter, I was in the back hallway, and he comes back there yelling at me, cussing at me, telling me how dare I arrest his daughter. She was drunk just like anybody else. And of course they tried to get rid of me because I'm putting their daughters in jail. But they're stupid. I saved his daughter's life. And see, they don't even think right. That's how stupid they are. And Margaret Bim is the one that allows these creeps and these thugs to be licensed. Now, she was in my hearing at the Board of Law Examiners, where they issued me a show cause hearing. I already explained to you how they gave a younger person their law license. She also, that got fired rightfully, Leon Marshall got fired rightfully at the Highway Patrol, much younger than me. And also she gave the law license to a person that came from another country, a foreigner that didn't have enough education. The Tennessee Supreme Court gave a law license. Her and her friends gave a law license to a man from Argentina that came over here that didn't have enough education, and just came over here from education from another country, Guzman, and he's a lawyer now. And the reason why he's a lawyer, his attorney argued in his brief that he should be able to practice law in America, although he came here from Argentina, didn't register for the draft like me, wasn't qualified to be a lawyer, came over here from Argentina, didn't have enough education, and they argued that, his attorney argued that he should be a lawyer because he can do great things for people in Argentina in American courts. So he's an attorney so that he can do great things for another country in America. Do you want attorneys that help other countries in American courts to have law licenses? Isn't that pretty astounding? I mean, no matter what country they're from another country. They shouldn't have more rights than us, but yet they do. How crooked is that? How crooked is that? So he's a licensed attorney here in the United States, has more authority as a member of the bar, so that he can help Argentinians from a foreign country. That's a fact. Look it up. Guzman got his law license. I didn't. I was going to do great things for people in the great state of Tennessee, not the great government. And they denied an American citizen registered for the draft. Mr. Guzman wasn't registered for the draft. He didn't fight for this country. I appealed my case to the Tennessee Supreme Court. And this is Margaret Butthole Beam proves this. I appealed my case to the Tennessee Supreme Court to try to get my law license, just like he did. They wouldn't even turn the lights on to hear my case. They denied cert. When he appealed an initial decision to turn down his law license, he appealed to the Tennessee Supreme Court. I'm the one, and people like me and all Tennesseans are the reason why those courthouse doors have power on. We paid our taxes. We registered for the draft, and some fought in wars to protect those courthouses, keep them open. He came over here from another country, Guzman, from Argentina. Had we had to go to war against Argentina, however unlikely, I would have had to fight him to keep courthouse doors open that he later was allowed to go into and argue his case. He was allowed to argue. They opened the courthouse doors, turned the lights on for the Tennessee Supreme Court to listen to this case. They wouldn't even hear my case denied cert. They listened to this case, kept the courthouse doors open that I fought, that I protected, that you protected, and gave law license to a foreigner, somebody that's going to do great things for another country. And you don't think foreigners that should have more rights than us? They do. Guzman does, got more rights than me. He's a practicing attorney in the United States of America. In the state of Tennessee, he's a practicing attorney here now. So yeah, we'll look at the traffic buildup here in Knoxville, Tennessee, and show you some papers about Margaret Beam. So let's see how many people got on here. We'll finish the story about Margaret Beam. So they allowed a younger person law license that committed stuff against the public safety of Tennessee, got fired right in lieu of THP. They could have done a lot of different things in violation of the Age Discrimination Act. Wouldn't let me have my law license. Gave it to a younger person. I didn't do anything wrong. Gave law license to a foreigner, somebody from Argentina that didn't have a draft card, wasn't even registered to protect this country. Gave them access to our courthouses that they had nothing to do with keeping over them. Wasn't even qualified to be a lawyer in the United States. Didn't even get an education in the United States to be a lawyer. Gave them their law license. Denied me mine. And that's not the whole of it. That's not even all of it. So let's see if we can find a place to sit down here and show you our paperwork and present our case to you, the jury. Thank y'all for watching. Let's see how many people got in here. Yeah, we got a bunch of people in here. Thank y'all so much. And we're going to present our case to the jury. Is this the one he killed? Yeah, I didn't kill anybody. People are disgusting truth. Yeah, it is probably because you... Let's see what these government bots say. Probably because you upset that lawyer by seeing the daughter. Maybe he had a grudge. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he had a grudge against me. That's right. They're full of grudges. They're full of dishonesty, and they're full of lies, and they cheat, rob, and steal. So let's get a little drink of water here. We'll go over on the bridge and show you some documentation of the evidence against these dirtbags. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. I hope you've enjoyed the show so far. We have talked about building this social movement organization, and we think we can get it done, and showed you some land that's just got rubble on it, and then here we'll give you a nice view of a nice view of, we'll turn this around here, a nice view of the bridge, where you got hundreds of people. We got people that are stuck in traffic because they can't get anywhere, because the government's got the road closed down. So they gave a man a law license that violated Department of Safety rules. Younger, should have been fired, or to be him. They gave a Argentinian a law license. A foreigner wasn't qualified their law license. They gave a lady who lied to the Board of Law Examiners their law license about being arrested for drunk driving, not reporting it to the law school. A younger lady, a woman, and Margaret Beam, and they wouldn't give me my law license, although I've never been arrested for drunk driving, convicted, never been convicted of any crime, never been arrested for drunk driving, period, and have nothing on my criminal record, nothing at all. Only thing I got on my record is stuff that judges have falsely put on me, because the judge rules without a jury. Anytime they've had to take it to a jury, I would have told the public, and they knew they couldn't get a conviction, so they dismiss it. But here, if you want to support the movement and let me go all over the state, then hit the square icon and contribute to the movement. Charles Van Morgan, Power to You, the People movement. We can turn that rubble into that big building and get rid of those attorneys out of there and turn it into a big movement. You can vote for free, or if you got money to support the movement, please give it. I promise you it'll be used for the proper purpose. We've had a few people give. I appreciate it. Had a police officer give. I appreciate it. And a couple of police officers give. And so they won't change too. So if you want to give, please give money. Now let's sing a little ditty about Colonel Tracy Trotz, To the Bathroom. You know, if you don't like parodies that are a little bit rogue, then don't listen. But this is just a parody about him. And we're going to sing it, and we're going to tell you the parody about Tracy Trotz. And some of you might like it, some of you don't. If you don't, I hate it for you. You know, but it's not very pretty. They're not very pretty. They cause people to get killed. So if you think I'm being mean, they cause people to get killed. It's a parody about Tracy Trotz. Yes, I'm going to do it. Now here's Tracy Trotz right here. So as you can see, Tracy caused the release of hundreds of drunk drivers. As a result, more people were killed on Tennessee roadways. Committed fraud by pursuing a fake case. I paid for my expert that was his expert. Your tax dollars paid thousands for his liars, and the crooked Tennessee judges got promoted for putting the weight of law on lies. They will lie on you too. That's what I got about Tracy Trotz. So let's listen to this little ditty, this little parody about Tracy Trotz. Cover your ears if you don't like comedy or some pretty bad stuff. But here we go. You ready to listen? Trotz to the Bathroom. Not suitable for children parody. Okay. Trotz talks about his first time. It was in an outhouse with a dog watching. Trotz, my first time was in an outhouse outside Fall Branch, Tennessee at a trooper convention. Me, wasn't it a little cramped? Trots, not after I kicked the dog out. Me, I see, you must tell me all about it. Trots. Trots, I never really expected to make it with Mom, but after she showed all the guys in town such a good time, I figured, what the hell? Maybe your mom isn't that me, but your mom, isn't that a bit odd? Trots, I don't think so. Looks don't mean that much to me in a woman. Me, go on, Trots. Well, we were drunk off our God-fearing asses driving down the road, drinking Jack Daniels liquor. Me, how was it, Trots? The liquor was great, but Mom passed out before I came. Me, did you ever try it again? Trots, sure, lots of times, but not in the outhouse. Between Mom and the shit, the flies were too much to bear. Me, I mean the Jack Daniels liquor. Trots to the bathroom. Toots, oh yeah, I always get sloshed before I give out trooper awards. You don't think I could lay down all that bullshit sober, do you? So that's about Okay, I'm sorry, I got muted. Okay. Damn. So, okay. Yeah, I got muted. Damn, that ain't good. So, okay, evidently I got muted toward the end. Okay, I'm sorry. Evidently I got muted at the end. So, what I finished up that you couldn't hear, I'll talk about tomorrow. I apologize to y'all. I looked at the chat, got muted. So we're going to get off here. We'll finish tomorrow morning. So if you missed part of the conversation, my bad. No harm, no foul. We'll finish tomorrow about 6:30 in the morning. We'll finish up with Butthole Bim, and we might finish up with the parody about Tracy Trotz. It's legal. The Supreme Court, Larry Flint, Jerry Falwell versus Larry Flint says we can have a parody. And so that's what we did. Look at this traffic here backed up because they closed down the damn roads. So we'll get off here. And if you missed me, sorry, I read the chat. You couldn't hear me. We'll finish up tomorrow. So what I left out today, you'll hear tomorrow morning, about 6 o'clock. So remember what I always say, God loves you and I do too. And see you till tomorrow. Thank y'all for letting me know.